Hey, how's it going out there? It's AG Surfer back with another vid. Yeah, with this vid, I want to do one shout out, and show off a comic book box because I'll. He asked in one of my vids, hey, if I could show all four sides of this box, this comic book box that I picked up at the Eugene Comic Con back in actually it was last month. I was hanging out with Tad Comics and met a couple of cool YouTubers like the Undisputed Frost and Huey from Blast It and Stash It. The Vampirilla box I picked up, yeah, it's the same on both sides, and in the front, or the where you grab the handle, there you go. So that goes out to the comic book villain. He wanted to see the Vampirilla box, and of course the lid. The lid is one of the best parts, in my opinion. Yeah, going sideways so you guys can get the full view on that. So very cool, really nice artwork. Again, that goes out to a shout out to the comic book villain. There you go, buddy. Hope that box looks cool. Now let me get into some comics. This might be a two-parter, three-parter vid. I've got quite a few books. I had one day out at the San Francisco Comic Con they had earlier, or actually back in September. I just went for one day. They had 3 days, but again, I went one day with a buddy of mine, and I spent the whole day just getting autographs. Guys like Mike Zack, John Beatty, Jim Shooter, Bob Layton, Bob McLeod, Keith Pollard. I got one autograph by him. Mike Mayhew, extremely cool guy. I think it's the second time meeting him. Such a cool guy. Excuse me. Eric Larson, Wallace Portacio. Yeah, I mentioned Bob McLeod. And Paulo Rivera. Was it Paulo? Oh, yeah. No, maybe I didn't get a chance to meet Paulo. I was really busy with like Mike Zack, Bob Layton, those kind of guys. And again, that was the San Francisco Comic Con back in September. The first time they've had it in San Francisco for quite some time. I believe it did so well back in September that I'm sure they'll do it again in 2017 because the turnout and everything was pretty huge. Yep, there's my time. So let me show off some books real quick. See how quick I can get through this. So I had this nice stack by Bob Layton. I found a nice little area at the Comic-Con, a nice table across from the area where all the autographs were going on, all the artists were at, and they had all the artists in one area, like in a big oval-shaped type table. So it's just a matter of running over there, going back and forth, and getting different comic books signed based on the artist and based on the lines. If I looked over Mike Zack had a line, I might be like, okay, I'll come back to Mike Zack in a moment. Let me go to Bob Layton real quick because he's got no line. And then my buddy a buddy of mine, he'd go around the convention looking for books because he was trying to pick up on his ASMs, and so he'd come back and forth and watch my comic books, watch the ink dry, that kind of thing. He would stand, watch some of my comics while I go around and get other autographs. And then I met a gentleman that rolled up with a couple of short boxes of comics, and he was doing the same thing I was. So we would watch each other's books and whatnot. Because I didn't want to, my buddy was like, I told my buddy, hey man, it's cool. You don't have to stay. I want you to go enjoy the con, but I'm going to be here all day. Trying to get as many autographs as I can. Because Bob Layton was signing for free. This was the second time meeting Bob Layton. Second? Third. Why does it feel like the third time? It was the second time meeting Bob Layton. Got an autograph by Bob Hercules, number 1, in the blue. It's came out okay. He's got a cool autograph. It's but in that bronze maybe it looks a little better. There you go. I had 2 copies, so one newsstand, one direct edition. And Hercules number 2 in red, Bob Layton. And I approached him and I asked Mr. Layton, hey, I've got a stack of books. Would you mind signing? And I would take a couple stacks at a time, and I would say I'm going to be back with more books if that's okay. And he says, hey, that's what I'm here for. This one's actually done by Bob McLeod. How this one got in here? These are going to be Bob McLeod now, and Jim Shooter. So Jim Shooter. New Mutants #1. Jim Shooter was signing for free. I think Bob McLeod charged $3 to $4. No problem. This one may be tougher to see. New Mutants #6. Bob McLeod up here in gold. I got it covered by a sticker. Again, Bob McLeod, very cool. He was sitting right. Let's see, was that Bob? Oh, Bob McLeod was. It was like Mike. It went Mike Zeck. Dang, I just had his name. John Beatty. Yeah, it was Mike Zeck, John Beatty, and Bob McLeod. And then there's a few other artists. Alan Bellman was in on that same side of the table. And then further down at the end, you had Bob Layton, and then in the corner you had Mike Mayhew. Bob Layton on X Factor #1. Very cool. Yeah, these are all back to Bob Layton's. Amazing Spider-Man 282. Bob Layton there in gold. That is direct edition. And Bob Layton, again, 282, this time in red, with that black suit Spidey. And newsstand edition. Yeah, Bob was just really cool. You know, he's such a character. He's such a great guy to meet. Such a pleasure. Issue 283, Amazing Spider-Man, Bob Layton. That, you know, he's like, "Oh, you again?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's me again. I got more books." I'm like, "Yeah, this should be the last of them." You know, he goes, "Oh, it's about time." You know, excuse me. Secret Wars #7. This one I believe I got Mike Zeck on the top. John Beatty's covered up. Jim Shooter in gold right here, and then Bob Layton right at the base. And this is the first appearance of the second Spider-Woman, I believe. Something like that. G.I. Joe 43. Again, Mike Zeck in red. These are going to be tough because I may have some of the signatures covered. There's a John Beatty in a gold, and then a Jim Shooter. I went with that blue. Yeah, these guys were amazing. Bob Layton on a Daredevil 224. It's kind of tough. Again, my sticker. Not prepared. Iron Man 258. Bob Layton. Yeah. Another Bob Layton covered in a sticker. Right there at Iron Man. Issue 258. This is 258.1. This is 258.2. And Iron Man 249. Really nice. These are cool covers, man, of the 80s and whatnot. You know, you got Doom and it's the Armor Wars, when the armors clash, actually. Bob Layton in gold at the top. Yeah, Bob Layton, I believe, in my opinion, Bob Layton helped redefine Iron Man. Made him more, I guess, I don't know if the term is human. But obviously made him with problems and everything. You know, Iron Man fighting alcoholism and whatnot. And then really kind of redefined who the character was. You know, Iron Man 241. It's a decent little red right there. Bob Layton. Some of them came out good, some not so much. Based on my pens. And maybe, you know, if they don't really stand out. Issue 225. Yeah, this one may not be so well. Issue 216. Right there in red. Just cool covers from Iron Man. And Bob Layton again. Such a generous guy. Iron Man 199 in red. So again, I spent the whole day. I didn't really go digging in any long boxes or looking at books. Iron Man 154. I spent the entire one day I had just running around getting autographs. And the last time I approached Bob Layton's table, I had no comics in my hand, but he sees me and he goes, "Oh, hey man, I thought you said this was your last time." I said, "No, I'd like to buy a print off of you if I can." He goes, "Oh," he's all, "You got money?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, get your rear end over here, buddy. Now you're talking my language." You know, he was such a character, man. Bob Layton, just if you ever get an opportunity to meet the gentleman, I say go for it. He's just a fantastic guy. So it's the least I could do. He didn't have a donation jar or whatnot, so I wanted to buy one of his prints anyways, his Iron Man prints. Unfortunately, maybe I show that in the future. I'll have to do a vid maybe just on prints, on some of those little prints I pick up at conventions. This is when I had met Eric Larson, Amazing Spider-Man 337. Yeah, Eric Larson's got a cool autograph as well. Sometimes it's tough I had to look at these books to figure out where he was signing. Larson was a great guy too. He you know, I did feel a little bummed. His table, he had his table covered in artwork, and he didn't have a large space. And, you know, I approached him with a stack of books. This one I had Randy Emberlin on in 2014. I got Eric Larson up here in red, Amazing Spidey 339. I approached Eric Larson's space, and I'm like, hey, I got some books, and you know, again, he didn't have a donation jar, but I was also looking to maybe get one of his prints, but I didn't go back, so I'll definitely have to make it up to Eric Larson next time I meet him and get one of his prints at least, and not so many autographs. Eric Larson right there on the Spidey's leg. I had this previously signed by Randy Emberlin, The Amazing Spider-Man 341. This one's a good one. I think this is probably my second or third copy. Randy Emberlin in silver, Eric Larson in red, and this is the first appearance of Cletus Cassidy, issue 344. Cletus Cassidy, who eventually becomes Carnage. Amazing Spider-Man 348. Yeah, Randy Emberlin up here previously, and Eric Larson right there on Sandman. I mean, Eric Larson, again, he was just such a great guy, and I felt bad, you know, at first he kind of looked at me like, oh, what's all these books, you know, and I said, well, I apologize. I said, I'll move some away, sir. I said, you know, I'll take some back. I won't, you know, ask you to sign all these. And he goes, no, that's all right. I'll sign them, because he didn't really have anybody in his line or anything going on, but he was kind of working on some sketches and whatnot. So again, Amazing Spidey there. 349 and 350. This gets a little tough for Randy Emberlin at the top. There's Eric Larson again on Spidey's leg. So yeah, but he was just such a great guy. The regular Spider-Man series, that's how McFarlane started. Eric Larson down there on his leg. Issue 15. This is where I'm going to have quite a few copies, just different colors. Issue 18, right there, Eric Larson. Issue 18 again in blue, right through there. This probably looks the best, obviously. Issue 18, a third copy. This is where Eric Larson's like, come on, man. In gold, you know. So that looks a little better, 18. And we got issue 19, that gold. Some of the gold didn't dry. It was actually a paint pen gold. It wasn't just a Sharpie. So the ink, it touched, and it get on the back of the bag and board. But it, you know, kind of smudged a little bit. Eric Larson. Spidey 19. You know, he did, of course, he worked on some Punishers. I got Punisher 22. Right there, Eric Larson. I handed him this book. This is where the man got a little excited. And he was actually kind of happy to sign it. He was definitely happy to sign this. Punisher issue 25. Now, I would recommend for all you guys out there that like the Punisher, or you just want a cool book, go out there and pick this one up. You might find it at a dollar bin. Eric Larson had pointed this out. He goes, you know, when we did this book way back when, they actually let a couple of these loose. They let them out. And he called it, I guess, like a printing error. And I don't know that it'd necessarily be considered a variant. But on page 16, there's no color. There's color at the top. He's talking about this comic book, and then he starts going through mine. He's like, you might have one. And sure enough, so see what you learn things when you talk to artists and you show them comics. Because he got real excited when he saw this. He's like, you know, I haven't seen one of these, but I heard about them. They were supposed to be all destroyed. So there you go. I was really stoked when he shows this. Then people are like, ooh, and I was like, ooh, myself. And I was like trying to be real protective of this comic book at that point. But the Punisher, it's a special giant size issue, number 25. And that's like a printing error that they had done. And so they were supposed to destroy the rest of them. And with that, I'll come back with a part 2 to my San Francisco Comic Con back in September. Just finally making a vid now before the year's over. So I want to thank everybody for coming by, checking out my channel, and we'll see you around for the next one. Take care.